Hello everybody! It is a complete pleasure to see all of you. Honestly, I am so excited that I'm going to be posting my first ever video on YouTube. Well, not really, because I previously posted an animation meme that actually received very well, and I'm really happy about that, but that's, against the point. At the end of the video, I'm going to be talking more about my ideas for future uploads and things you should be expecting. It's just going to be yapping about important things, so I recommend you stick around if you want to know more. And of course, if you do end up enjoying this video, I would really appreciate it for you to give a like or comment, or support me in any way, shape, or form. I really don't mind. So without further ado, let us begin. Let us start with original characters. Most of us artists love creating these because it's a great way to brainstorm our own ideas. However, some beginner artists just create them for the sake of having fun, and not taking into consideration important aspects of developing a complex character. But these aspects could also go for everyone, me included. Sometimes I create OCs without having a story in mind because it could get kinda hard at times when I'm just trying to design a character, without really making them canon in a specific universe. That's why I decided to take some of my, not so pretty, old underdeveloped OCs and reimagine them as characters from a fantasy setting. Oh, but Peppers, why exactly a fantasy setting? Well, that's kind of an interesting question, because I'm currently developing a story with my up-to-date characters called Forebear Empress. I'm not gonna really mention a lot about the lore, but the only thing that we must take into consideration here is that this story is mainly inspired by a fantasy setting. I might talk more about the story in later videos because it's actually a passion project that I have right now, and rambling about the main plot and the lore for the characters would be really fun. But yeah, as I mentioned before, these characters right here are gonna have their personal glow-ups because, let's be honest, they really need them. I'm kinda new to the whole commentary thing, so if I stutter in some parts, I really do apologize for that. But honestly, I'm just trying my best in this video because, well, it is my first commentated video after all. On with the first character then.
Who are you?
So starting off with their first character, his name is Cororus. He is a cute pink-haired boy, but he has more than meets the eye. He was initially a character that was inspired by Nagito from Danganronpa because for some reason I was really obsessed with that game back in the day. So I would incorporate a lot of my inspirations in some of my OCs. And Cororus was one of those main examples. Initially, he was kind of like this, innocent young-looking man that's just trying to help the main character in her journey. But after some events, we realize that the character that's helping us is, in reality, a psychopath. Kind of like a sidekick to the main character, which, spoiler alert, that's going to be the next redesign I'm going to be working on, the main character of my previous story that obviously I discontinued because it's ridiculous, the plot doesn't make any sense, the character designs lack any depth, I just hate these designs, I'm sorry, I can't stress it enough, that's why I made this video to begin with. But on the topic of Korra's redesign, you could see that it was a little bit of trial and error because I decided to get a lot of my references from Pinterest, as I normally do with most of my drawings. At first, I didn't really have a clear theme for him. I just wanted to make him as like a fantasy-inspired character with no theme, no specific design for him. However, at the end, I'm like, wait, he has pink hair, and originally, he was kind of like this lovey-dovey guy that he would obviously like flirt with other characters. So I decided to take that specific detail and incorporate it into his main personality, because why not, you know? I don't have much else to say regarding his new redesign, I just really like it. His Cupid design made me like his design 10 times more than the previous drafts that I had for him. Also, that's another thing that I didn't mention, is that obviously his character is inspired by a Cupid. The Cupid, you know, the historic one that we all know of. But yeah, 10 out of 10. So yeah, this is how he looks like now.
And today, I'm going to be showing you guys how it feels to lose the weird girl with a good personality.
Next character that we have is Ikuhiro, the main character of my previous story. So there is a lot to say with this character design, but I'm just gonna come straight forward. Out of all of the redesigns I made, she was my least favorite because I noticed that her design was a lot more simpler, and that automatically doesn't mean that the character is of lesser value compared to the other ones because her design is more simple, but that's just a personal preference of mine. I just like designing characters that have more elements to their clothing, design, whatever. I decided to just give her a simple wizard motif, and with that I'm like, okay, if she's just a simple wizard character, what's the purpose of already adding other things? She was always this nerdy and quiet type character that would invest most of her time reading books and researching a lot of topics that she was passionate about. This time, I didn't really need to brainstorm a lot of ideas online because I kind of had like a brief understanding of how Iku acted as a character. So I decided that a wizard motif would fit her the most. She's mostly focused on spells, maybe making potions, researching a lot of things, and just giving her a serious personality, because why not, you know? The only difference that you may see is that I made her hair a little bit longer, and of course, the clothing is an obvious difference. I just really changed that. I didn't really change her eyes, her expression. Even if this was my least favorite redesign out of the 3 characters that I made, I was still really satisfied with the end result, and I could safely say that I may incorporate her in my main canon story.
Nerd.
Woohoo! Finally, the last speed paint that we have. Reena Reze, or however you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I'm butchering my own OC's names because they were mostly Japanese inspired. I don't want to explain why. Let's just say I was a massive anime fan in 2020. So, low-key embarrassing, but you know. And to be honest, I don't remember if I searched for Pinterest references or not. Oh wait, actually I do. I literally just looked up Lolita dresses, and suddenly it came to my brain, I'm going to make her a shepherdess because her character is being caring to others. And I'm going to be honest, I feel like Reena's redesign was my favorite one out of the 3 of them. I feel like in the drawing process, I had the most fun with this one. Well, maybe because I am a little biased with designing characters with a lot of ruffles and cute dresses. Let's just say that's like my favorite thing to ever draw, possibly. That's why I didn't really have a lot of problems with designing her dress and her other elements that are present in her body, like these cute little ribbons that I added to her, and also for the color palette. The colors were really easy to pick out because Reena is a blonde character, so I can't really specify it, but yellow is one of my favorite colors, and I feel like it goes really well with other tones, such as the saturated greens and darker tones of green, if that makes any sense. This part is completely off script. I really don't know how to end presentations, but yippee! Here's my final redesign. Thank you so much. Please wait for the next segment that I'm going to be talking about future plans. I am getting a little bit impatient with my editing softwares because I'm actually going insane. Please send help. Oh my...
I might swerve in that corner, whoa, whoa. It's short on tight cause I'm tweaking it, bitch.
Hello, welcome. Not really. I was meaning to say that thank you so much for reaching this segment of the video, as I'm going to be explaining some of my future plans for the future, and some commentary of how this video came to be, and how f***ing stressful it was. Whew, so where do I begin? I have never experienced so many difficulties developing a YouTube video. Although I did have a YouTube channel when I was like 8 years old, but I would just record myself playing with toys because I thought that was really fun back in the day. But right now, I decided to make a YouTube channel because I really want to show my content to the rest of the world. Mostly my drawings because I really like drawing, art, and possibly art commentary. The thing is, I'm not really a fan of art commentary and the community in general. I feel like people only cover, you know, toxic topics just for the sake of getting exposure. And, you know, I think that's fine. It's just personally not for me. I don't want to, like, speak on other people's actions in order for me to get benefit out of that. You know, I'm not saying it's unethical, but it just doesn't suit me. I would rather talk about, you know, my personal art journey and other things that I feel like would help other people too. Like giving art tips and how I'm in this position that I am right now. And, you know, tips for improving your art, OC lore, etc., etc. It truly depends on what my viewers want to see. So that is why I want to ask you kindly, my dear viewer, if you have any ideas on what you'd like to see me post in the future. I am 100% open to your recommendations. My comments are going to be open for a reason. I'm probably going to post, community tabs so I can ask people some questions that, what type of content do you want to see? Just, share their opinions on what they'd like to see from me in the future. This video was so fucking hard to make, but I'm here, I am alive, thank you for watching. This video was something. So, yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye, cuties.